So, like for example, right now they're doing a run back, and it seems like he's kind of like running in mud. But I mean, you got to think of it this way: these are the guys that there's a lot of draft picks here from former teams, but they're guys that couldn't make it in the NFL. So usually those guys are going to be like what 4.7 on the 440, get to close to 5. You know what I'm saying? So
Wait, this
that's
is a
why it
sound
looks
check.
low. Yeah, I know.
Wait,
This
this
is
is a
this is
sound
the,
check?
this is the sound check
Damn.
for the Gabe and Walt show, right?
Which will be coming back soon.
There you go. Sound check done.
This is
All right.
sound check number 2. Wolfie.
That was way longer.
If you go to gyroworld.com, you might discover that Bubba is taking all of your aluminum foil for the very, very low price of 99 cents, in which case he will fashion it into an idol of pure gold that can be sold for $679 billion for
Not
each
runes.
single piece of aluminum foil you bring in.
Not runes.
We're going to make it
Runes.
runes now.
Okay, there you go.
And that, yeah.
This is a sound check.
Hello, everybody.
Yes, this
and
is a
welcome
sound
check.
to
Check.
Get Geek
Check.
Podcast,
This is a sound
where
check
we
Mic
that I
check.
think is
celebrate
so good
geek,
that
nerd,
I know it's
and
not a
pop
Get Geek
culture.
thing. It's usually a
Each
question
week, we
thing,
deliver the
yeah.
best analysis
I think
for
we have to
fans.
include it.
I
by
do
fans
think.
on
I mean,
anything
yeah,
related
maybe
to
like
movies,
it
TV,
could work. Maybe
video games,
like yes, yes.
anime,
Gabe
and
looks-
Do it.
manga.
He's looking
We
at something and
talk
he's like
geek.
totally shocked.
And now,
I will
here's
send it
the
to you.
Get
I'll
Geek
send it in the Get Geek
Podcast.
Instagram, and you guys can be shocked at what I just saw too.
All right, we'll talk about it after this break. So I finally saw the reel that you sent over uh, via Instagram. Um, in Hawaii, the chicken that decides to climb on and lay an egg. Now, now, more importantly, how
It's
did
not
that
even. Was
guy?
it a chicken? Wasn't it a pigeon? It was a chicken.
No, it was a chicken, man.
Oh
It
my
was an actual
god.
chicken. Now, the bigger question here is why did that guy choose to start filming at that point, right? And Spider-Man reflexes for catching the egg as it was rolling off the hood. So
that's
he
an easy.
just
That's easy. That's easy. Would
can
you
I just
not?
say
First, yeah.
can I say one thing?
Mm-hmm.
He's lucky because in Texas, if he had let that go, he would have gone to jail. Because that would have been considered to be an abortion in
Oh my
Greg
God.
Abbott's eyes, right?
That's
Sorry,
very
some
true.
political humor in there. I digress. You were saying,
Well, let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen a chicken fly?
I've seen a chicken try to fly.
Try to fly.
Well, he probably pulled his camera out because he was like, "Wait, how does this chicken get on top of my car?"
Well, listen,
And then it flew off.
Just as an aside, so I grew up. I was born in California, as you guys may or may not know, right? And for some years of my life, I did spend a lot of time over at my grandmother's house. Now, if you knew my grandmother was about maybe 4'9" and stuff. But being that my grandmother is from the Guatemalan side, that my mom is from the Puerto Rican side, so that was my dad's mom. She had in her backyard an entire chicken coop. Okay. Not only that, wait, it gets better. Not only that, if you go a little further back, she actually had a caged coyote. Why she
What the
had one,
hell?
I have no idea. Yes, this is all true, right? So, to make this a very, very quick story, I was probably like maybe 4 or 5 years old and stuff like that. And so what my cousins used to do is that there was a separation between the main house and the back house. And so they would lock the door and let the rooster out. The rooster would always go after me and try and peck me in the back of my feet, right where the Achilles were. Maybe that's why my Achilles tendon ruptured about 10 or 15 years ago, right? But eventually, my grandma, again, all of 4'9", grabbed the rooster one time because we were about to have dinner, grabbed it by the head, swirled it around,
Oh God.
broke the neck, right? And then put it down and with a knife chopped the head off.
I
Mind you.
apologize to any and all vegans that are listening.
Mind you,
Yeah.
I am a 5-year-old with my 4'9" grandmother holding the head of a chicken while the body of the chicken is twitching and running around. Scarred for life.
Scarred for life.
What the hell? What the hell?
Anyway, guys,
Okay.
welcome to the
That-
You
Get
started
Geek.
this, man.
That's an
Welcome-
You
awkward intro.
started
no
this
lie.
with that thing.
Welcome to the Get Geek podcast. I
you go.
am one of your hosts. My name is Gabe, aka Wolf, and I am joined by the man you just heard on mic, Walt, and the big and little bro, AJ and Eli. Say what's up.
What's up?
Goodbye.
Oh my freaking god! Why you always do that?
Yeah, come on, you got to give me something better than a goodbye.
Okay, what's up? What's down?
There you go. That's better.
There you
That's
go.
new. It's fresh.
Yeah.
I love it. Let's keep it going. So this week we're gonna kind of just bring you a little bit of some thoughts on some stuff that's been happening this week. We've got Halo, we've got Doctor Strange, and we've got some rumors on the DCEU. How do you
Is
guys
this-
feel about the news coming out this week so far?
Is it still the DCEU? I can't
I don't
even,
know. DC,
I don't know what to call it anymore,
DCEU.
to be honest.
I don't know. Like, I mean, you know,
They've
Discovery
gotten-
Channel. Does DC stand for Discovery Channel or Direct Comics?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's so weird. So
Can I make a quick shout out?
A shout
So,
out. Oh, I
like,
got a shout
yes.
out too, by the way.
So there's this dude trending pretty hard on Twitter right now, even though it's not official. Like in the moments I've seen the posts on Twitter, posts about this dude have been going up in the hundreds, if not thousands.
Okay.
okay.
He is colloquially known as "Let Me Solo Her."
What?
Now, hold on,
Yo,
just
wait.
hold on, just hold on.
Hold up.
So there
Remember, this
is.
a PG.
Yeah,
Hold on,
what the
you
hell,
gotta
bro?
let you gotta let
not
me
after
talk.
that gory. Not after that
You
gory
gotta let me-
explanation of how
you
how
gotta
your
let me
grad-
talk.
That's true. That's true.
There is a boss in Elden Ring.
Okay.
Her name is Melania,
Yes.
one of the hardest bosses in the game.
Towards the end, right? End game boss, right?
Sort of. There is a dude on PC who puts his summon sign right outside of her boss fight area.
Okay.
And it's literally titled "Let Me Solo Her." And to his credit, I haven't seen a single complaint from the community. He always solos her. And this is what he looks like.
Describe it for us, please.
Jesus Christ. Of course.
He's wearing
Oh my
a
god.
jar on his head,
Oh my goodness.
and he's
Jesus Christ.
He's naked.
utilizing the
With two
Rivers
swords.
of Blood katana.
This
And I don't know what other katana that is.
podcast is off to a strange start.
Now, I've seen another name for him called the Jarnished. Get it? Because
Jarnish.
Oh my god.
How-
all right. Let's
And so basically, this dude has just been blowing up. Like the thing I just showed you right now, he got his own miniature statue. That's a statue of the
That's
dude's
pretty funny.
character.
It's funny because it seems like every single week there's something interesting and new from Elden Ring that I totally would not have expected.
Have you played?
Yet. No. My gaming has been dedicated to a little bit of fighting games, some old school
Okay.
retro stuff, and a little bit of Halo when I have the energy for for it. So I've been focusing on mindless combat. So
Okay, so
um,
Yeah.
let's
well, hold on. I do want to do a quick little shout
Okay,
out
okay.
before we
Uh-huh.
continue, before we get on with the actual episode. Everyone
Okay.
that's listening,
Tarnished.
you know, I just want to shout out
Jarnish.
Steven and the folks over at Brooklyn
Jesus
Video Games and
Christ.
Arcade.
Hmm.
You know, they're super awesome. They just did an update to their shop.
Nice.
The shop looks awesome. They got more cabinets more than ever before. They're doing, you know, weekly tournaments more than once. I think they're doing tournaments on every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday now, I think. And these
Wow.
are cash
Okay.
prize tournaments that you can now watch live stream on their Twitch channel. So if you guys want to check out a little bit more about what they've got going on, just go to Brooklyn Games and Arcade on Instagram and you'll be able to see everything. You can also purchase through Instagram. You can, whatever they put out from trade-ins or new arrivals, you could just hit them with the DM, purchase it online, and go from there. You don't even have to visit the store. But they're super cool peoples out there. So yeah, man, go check them out if you have not.
Sounds good.
Big
Have you
shout
been
out to
there
Steven.
recently? I
Recent,
haven't been
yes,
there in a bit.
I did stop by recently because I'm trying to get a cabinet for a project. I'm trying to get my own candy arcade. Now, for those of you guys that aren't
Hmm.
aware, a candy arcade is essentially a imported Japanese old style retro arcade cabinet with a CRT monitor and the whole nine. I mean, of course, you have the newer candies, which are based on, you know, LCD screen and whatnot. But what makes it a
Hmm.
candy arcade is, you know, kind of like the look of it. It's got like fluorescent, it's got lighting, it's got, you know, funky colors like pink, yellows, and, you know, things that kind of look like cotton candy. And that's kind of where it got the nickname from it. But I'm looking to get my own candy arcade for a very specific project. And they're super cool because they're, first of all, they're very expensive because now they're very, very rare. So if
Hmm.
you're even lucky enough to find one in good condition as far as the cabinet goes, and a good quality CRT monitor in there with no burn in, you can now install things like the Mister Arcade, which is a PC board IO set where you can just load in all the ROMs from all the games and just play it on the arcade. But you can also, in the cabinet itself, put in all your game systems, like, you know, your Xboxes, PlayStation, Dreamcast, and the whole
Oh,
nine,
that's
and
cool.
all like just connected to the arcade itself, and just play all your games using joysticks or just a wireless controller, you know,
Hmm.
off of the cabinet system itself. So um for those of you guys that are into retro gaming, and you don't
Mm.
know what a candy arcade is, take a look, and do a little bit of research, just so you know, if the cabinets themselves, they seem to be going up in value every single year. Retail cabinet was $600 more or less, plus the
Okay.
import fee if you do import it, or if it's
Hmm.
already here in the States, about 600 to $800. But now, like, the cheapest that you could probably find a true candy like Sega or Capcom or Taito candy arcade is about $1,600 to $2,000. And
Wow,
that's
that's
for
a big
like
jump.
one that's like in terrible quality with no game PC in it at all.
It's expensive.
If a
Yeah.
mint one,
It's
you're
pretty
looking at
expensive.
about $5,000.
Wow.
Oh,
So
Wow.
That's a
yeah,
huge jump. That's
yeah,
a
yeah.
really a
yes,
huge jump.
yes.
But you know, retro gaming is in.
Well, I mean,
It's in
it's
hardcore.
because
Yeah.
these games are no longer backwards compatible. You can't play any of
Yeah.
these old games
It's true.
anymore because we're too far down the line in systems and consoles.
Yep.
So that's why they've accrued value. Anyway, big shout out to Brooklyn Games and Arcades.
Hey yo.
You know, hit up Steven. They got two shops for you guys to enjoy. Let's go right into the show now. I think it's like high time that we start
Yeah.
talking
What was it, like
Halo.
almost
Let's go ahead and
15 minutes
start.
into the go
Let's
into
go
the
ahead and
thing?
start with
Damn.
Halo. No.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
let's
we're
do
on
it.
episode 4.
Mm-hmm.
How do you guys feel so far? Let me just get like a quick gauge of the temperature on the Melgar household right now. How do you guys feel so far about the episode or the show in general?
I'm still open to it, but I'm finding it harder and harder to keep giving the show a chance. That's all I'm gonna say for now. I
Yeah.
want to get into the specific problems
So
after
I'm assuming
this.
I'm gonna say lukewarm.
A
You're
little
lukewarm.
less than
A
lukewarm.
little less than lukewarm. Okay, so you're just Luke.
I guess I am. I'll go and get my green lightsaber out for you guys to all see.
Damn.
E?
Whack. That's it.
Not a shocker there.
Yeah, that's it. I'm not even gonna say anything else
That's
other
it?
than whack. It's just horrible in
Okay.
general. Well, I will, because it's just they're shamelessly screwing up the Halo non-canonical verse, I guess you would say. So
Yeah, because it's not canon.
yeah, thank God it's not canon.
And Vault.
Uh, Jose, who is not here with us today,
Mm-hmm.
he kind of said it best, and I'm trying here. I'm trying here, but the show, especially with the last two episodes, seems freakishly concerned with showing butts all the time, and it is
Oh,
very distracting.
Yeah.
I guess what they're trying to do is show that they are an adult show. You can find other ways of doing that. So it's distractions like that that's making. I'm still with the open mind. I am,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm trying hard. I really, really am Paramount. I really, really am 343 Industries. But with each week, it's getting a little bit harder to say, you know what, I understand what you're trying to do.
they gave it a name.
Yes, they did.
What?
What do you mean they give it a
They
name?
gave it a name
Are you
online.
you are sitting down because I see you,
Okay,
Yeah, I am
so
sitting down.
it is
Mr. Wilson?
apparently not fitting to call him Master Chief anymore. It
Right.
is more fitting to call him Master Cheeks.
Oh my goodness. Oh
No.
my god.
No.
So good.
No.
The internet is undefeated.
Yo.
Undefeated yet again.
No.
Wow.
Yo, what?
I
Nah, that's out of
It
pocket.
was a Forbes article I saw that on,
it's
bro.
on top of that, it's a Forbes article. Oh my
No. That's out of pocket. Oh my
Yo.
god, yo.
well, all
Damn,
right.
that's
So
crazy.
I am pretty cold on it right now. I am so bored with the show that and it's hard for me to actually really get bored with a show, especially one that I'm emotionally invested in that I already have like character background of.
Mhm.
Because I do like to give everything a chance, even if like it's begrudgingly so. But where I could understand how people were bored, and I hate having to constantly, every time we talk about Halo, we talk about Boba Fett, sort of it kind of comes up just because it's the most recent thing that we saw that we
But
kind of dealt with this a little
there
bit.
are parallels to it.
Yeah, I mean the thing is that we
So,
like, I think that like it's very unique to have a show that everybody's been waiting for, that has like, that doesn't have people on the edge of their seat, that has people kind of waiting around. Again, I make the case that with Boba Fett, I can understand the wait because they're giving me backstory and answering questions that we want. And it's the same thing still with this, where they're giving us a bunch of stuff that we don't actually need and didn't ever ask for. Like there was so much exposition in this fourth episode that of course there's no room for any kind of running and gunning because they had so many like expansive lines of dialogue for no reason. I
a-
mean,
and just to your point, it's really, really interesting that you're seeing a lot being made of the preview for next week's episode.
right,
It's
yes.
almost as if the series creators recognize the fact that the last two episodes have been kind of a little bit slow in terms of pacing, and this is kind of like them saying, guys, don't give up on us, because next week we're gonna bring it. You know what I'm saying?
That's
It's
exactly, yeah,
almost,
that's,
yeah,
I
it's
just
almost
saw it
an
right now.
apology to the fans, right?
Yeah, I just saw the preview right now. Like, I didn't get a chance to see it before because I didn't want to see it before I saw the fourth episode. I've been lagging behind. I literally only saw the fourth episode just so I can do this recording. I
That's
wasn't really
telling right
compelled.
there, though.
I wasn't compelled to it. And again,
Yeah.
I'm a diehard Halo fan. Um and yeah, like I see as soon like halfway through that trailer, the preview for episode 5, I got the feeling that like, oh, they're trying to tell me like, oh, don't worry guys, all the action you guys have been wanting and missing, you're
Hmm.
finally gonna get on episode 5.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly what that felt like. It was like, guys, I get it. You might be a little one eye closed. You're falling asleep on the couch. Don't worry about it. We got you next week. We got
I
you
took a
next week.
phone call in the middle of this episode and didn't want to hit pause just because I wanted to get through the episode.
It was a little
Um,
tough this week.
were there any highlights for you guys?
I do like the way the other Spartans have been interacting with the other characters, specifically Miranda Keys. I feel like they have a much better personality. It's really weird to say this right now, but I like them better than Master Chief a little. Just a
Well,
little.
I think what's happening here is that Master Chief kind of opened that Pandora's box, and there's you can see that there's a struggle with him in terms of, you know, do I deserve this? Should I really open myself up? And the other, what's her name? I can't remember.
Kai,
No,
the
the
blonde
other
one.
Spartan. That, yeah, is that Kai?
Yeah, I think that's isn't it
Okay,
Kai?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I'm
believe it's
pretty
Kai.
sure,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
she's fully embracing it. I mean, you see that she's taken, she's coloring her hair, she's showing individuality and stuff. You saw her be a little bit more upfront in the conversations, like she was leading the conversations
Yes,
on
that
this,
very very true.
and so I think what's happening is here is you're having two different dynamics with two different characters. One character is fully embraced. She saw what he did and he was like, "Oh, that's interesting. Let me try it." And she is fully embracing the freedom that she's missed.
Yeah, but there's a little
And
bit of a
then
plot hole there that's really
no, no,
I
yeah, I
feel like
know.
it's
Yeah,
glaring.
Yeah, there
but then you
is.
look at Master Chief, and Master Chief was the one that started this whole thing, and he's kind of wishy-washy, like, which way do I go? And I don't know if maybe it's because of the relationship that he has with the doctor,
Definitely is.
or
Um, I
because he has this mama's boy relationship with
sort
her,
of.
you know.
I feel
Yeah.
like I can kind of explain that off, and I hate that I'm actually able to defend this piece of it at the
Hmm.
moment. But I think that what it is that Master Chief is dealing with all these new feelings and these emotions after realizing that he had a past and knowing that he had a past. So for him it's a little bit different because he's already confused before he took out the
That's
what are
true.
they calling it? I forget what the pellet,
Yeah.
right?
The
They're
emotional inhibitor
yeah,
or
they're the
whatever.
emotional
the
inhibitor,
the
right? Like
the
he's
ass
already
pill.
confused. Right, he's already
Mm.
confused. So he saw these
You
memories
missed that one.
before while he had
I
the
guess I
pellet,
did.
and now he's processing those same memories but with emotions now, and so he's super confused. Whereas Kai had no idea about anything. She didn't even have any idea why he took it out or what the effects would be,
Hmm.
right? Like John knew that when he took it out, that he's gonna, as it was explained to him, he's gonna see the world like in a new light, and he's gonna be questioning things. Whereas she had no idea what would happen, so everything is brand new and fresh for her, which is why it feels like fresh interactions with her and stuff like that, and everything's
Yeah,
new and
but you know
happy.
what? I like the experience that she's having a lot more than I'm liking John's experience.
Yeah, well,
Mm.
it's because she doesn't have any conflict. However, here's the plot hole that I was talking about. Anybody find it weird that when Master Chief was trying to like take it out, like alarms went off and everybody knew, oh, what's going on over here? We can't let him, like
Yeah.
they knew.
Well,
Meanwhile,
Mm.
she's taking it off, no problem, no alarm set, not a single soul was notified about
I will
anything.
say this though. They first of all, they have way more invested in Master Chief than they have with Kai. Master
Yes.
Chief is the poster boy. Plus, they were probably looking at him with even a stronger. What's the word I'm looking for? They
With
they
the
had him.
hawk's eye.
Yeah, exactly. only because of his actions prior to that. I mean,
Yeah,
he
that's
he
true. I understand that.
so he's gonna have that focus on him a lot more and stuff.
Yeah,
That's yeah. And yeah, but that's still a plot hole
it
because you know
just
what?
doesn't make
If
sense
you're a
because
Spartan and you're monitoring these guys, if it happens to
th-
him, you
their
should
whole
see it
I
armor,
might happen
mean,
to
not
somebody else.
yeah,
not
their
even
helmet, their
that.
armor, everything is meant to monitor them, right, AJ?
Yeah, but not even that though. Like, it's also really weird how the other Spartan didn't notice the cut in her back.
The blood on the knife.
Yeah,
It's not
Yeah.
like she got there and everything was already hidden and put away. She was there literally like bleeding from her back, I'm
a
assuming. And
second after
yeah,
she
like
was
Yeah,
finished
literally,
doing
yeah.
that.
I hate to say it though, but those two other Spartans at this point, they're pretty clueless when it comes to everything else.
Yeah.
I mean,
Everything for them is
yeah,
just
but
tactical and stuff. Those minor details, I can see how they kind of
Yeah.
miss that because they're not on the battlefield. So it's like, who cares?
What other highlights? I know that. So Eli, did you have any highlights? I know that like the Spartan interactions were kind of a highlight for AJ. You, Eli, anything, anything at all?
No. I might have to say no. There were no highlights for me,
Not a
and
single one. Mm.
nope, not in any of the episodes. I
Not
would
in any
say
episode. I guess. I
I
mean,
would.
I do feel there. I don't think that there's any
okay,
glaring
that
highlights for me either.
What? I
that's
can't.
kind of wrong. In the very first episode, you definitely enjoyed seeing those elites tear through those freaking rebels.
Well,
You
okay.
even said so.
Throughout the entire show, I mean, yeah, the first scene was. I mean, the first few scenes were like decent. They were pretty good, but I mean, otherwise, I mean, we generally haven't gotten anything
Yeah,
else. There's no other highlights
it's
that I could even think of off the
it's
top of
been
my head.
pretty slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was liking the character of Soren. He's kind of falling into that one-dimensional character in my eyes
Yeah,
right now.
he's just
Um,
plot device.
yeah, he started out super interesting. It's not there anymore with me now. He's basically, oh well, you know what? Now you owe me a ship. That kind of stuff. There, there, there were threads that, if they had treated correctly, might have been interesting. They're falling away from it, and that's why this episode was kind of disappointing because you know what? You were kind of building something, and now it wasn't the greatest thing of all time, but now this episode kind of like is a step back in
Yeah,
terms of
I
that.
feel the same way. I mean, for me, like towards the end of the episode, I realized that like the entire Madrigal like stuff going on, I could care less about it.
Yeah.
Like I found myself only really caring, obviously because I want to see Master Chief. I'm watching Halo for Master Chief, nothing else, right? I hated that in this episode they would cut to a scene with Master Chief. That scene would last like a minute, and then when they would go to something else like Madrigal or back to the UNSC, and that would be like a 5 to 10 minute scene. Then they would go back to Master Chief for another minute, and then back to all the other stuff. So it's like they're pulling me away from what I'm actually here for. Which I don't understand why. And then the second thing, the biggest issue that I found with this episode is that they're pulling me away from what I want to see, which is I guess some sort of story
I think I
development
know
with
what you're
Master
saying.
Chief
I
and
think I know
looking
what you're
for
gonna
this
say.
thing. He's
Uh
looking
huh.
for this thing, doesn't find it, and then at the end of the episode he finally finds it. So this whole episode was about
Oh
him finding the artifact and not being able to find it, just to let us know at the very end of the episode, oh, we found it now. So what was the whole point of the episode?
yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I thought you were gonna go to Kwan Ha because I again, she's another character that
The storyline is useless. The
exactly. So
storyline is
I
useless,
thought
has
that's where
nothing.
you're
It
going.
just doesn't feel like Halo. It
Yeah,
doesn't feel
I
like Halo in any way, shape, or form.
yeah, her whole thing with the aunt and the father and the generals and stuff like that. I mean, are you saying that she's building an army that Master Chief can utilize at some point in the season? The whole thing with Vishnu, who cares really? You know, um, and but going back to your point with the whole point at that new his home
Yeah,
planet,
his
right?
homeworld and
You
everything.
know, Arad
Arad-
Ariadnus or
Aridness
Aridinus.
Aridness or
something.
something like
Aridness.
that. Yeah.
Aridness, yeah.
I mean,
Sounds very familiar. Arachnus?
yeah, exactly. I will say this: I was interested in the way that they were slowly, unraveling everything with him, and the reveal that Halsey was there all along. You know what I'm saying? Which I think we all knew, but I mean,
Yeah.
whatever.
That was still so
Um, but I
uninteresting.
think the whole point, to like what you were saying, we can't find the artifacts. So while we're here, let's reminisce. Let's open up that whole thing, and then at the very end of the episode, we'll go back to that whole thing and say, "Oh yeah, we found it. Now
Yeah,
we can move forward." It felt like, I said, everything in this episode this past week was so clunky and
yeah,
weird.
yeah.
It wasn't the greatest
It just
episode.
felt like a useless episode.
It really did. It felt, you know what it felt like? It felt like one of those Mandalorian. You know what? I can't even say that, because even those Mandalorian filler episodes, even though they had nothing to do with the story, if you took it all on its own, they were still fun.
Right, but that's because
You know what I'm
those
saying?
were that's when you have a monster of the week type of episode. You get that, right?
Yeah.
You have a beginning, a middle, and the end within the episode. And what we don't want from the Mandalorian is the entire show being that. So I can
Right.
understand like having a
We don't
couple
need it to be a
episodes like that
procedural.
that will give us a little bit of a push in the main story, just but give us a break to do some world building, to do some character development here and there. Um, but then having a filler episode that literally fulfills nothing. Look, if you made a trailer of this episode of just John landing in
Aridness.
Whatever.
Aridness,
Hmm.
landing there, then for some reason, with all the tech in the world, they didn't go and get like a scanner to find exactly where the thing is in the dirt, digging up a bunch of little holes, and then having a flashback sequence that ends up leading to the artifact. If you just take those scenes, which would have been a total of like 4 or 5 minutes, that would be the whole episode. That's it. And you don't need anything else. And
Yeah.
nothing else to happen in the episode really pushes the Halo story forward.
And we have 5 more episodes for this Halo story to kind of resolve itself, at least for the season. I what are we doing with this plot right now? I
I
mean,
I
don't
mean, it
know.
seems like
it
they're trying to really build up the rebellion side, which in a way makes sense
I'm
because you hear mention of them and then they're
mhm.
just completely ignored in like.
That's not how
Well,
you
here's the
build
Yeah,
a
I
question though.
know,
system,
I know,
All
I
right, but here's
know,
the
I
question. Here's
know.
the question.
Like,
Like the rebellion, what's the story that they're trying to tell? Are they trying to tell the story of the rebellion, or are they trying to tell the story of the Covenant War, or are they
I
trying to tell
think
the story of the Forerunners and Marathon and the Halo artifacts? Which one of
I
these
don't
three
know.
stories are they
I
telling?
see. I think they're trying to do all of that at the same time,
Doesn't
and
work.
it's not working.
It doesn't work.
I know that they're trying, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if you were just to be, if you could tell me right now what story are they telling, I don't think anybody can, right? Four
Yeah, that's
hours
the
in,
point.
four
Yeah.
episodes in, you should not question what story they're telling.
And that's why it's disappointing for me this past episode, because I was giving them a pass. I'm like, okay, they're trying to do something here. This fourth episode shows that they don't have a direction that they're going with right now. I mean, I would have liked to have seen maybe a story for the first season just on the Forerunners, right? Tell
Oh
that
God,
story.
yeah, that's
Tell
exactly
that
what I was
story.
looking forward to. That's what I thought it would
Get
be because I
get
wanted to
us
know more
the
about the
beginning.
Forerunners.
Yeah,
Yeah,
give us the
Halo
beginning,
Legends.
and then kind of work everything in there.
Jesus Christ.
We're not getting that. We're not. The rebellion is here, and then it's gone for 2 episodes, and the one episodes that they kind of nothing happens to it. You put this plot device in Venture there that's supposed to make it hard for the rebellion to kind of rise up again. I really don't care for him, and I kind of like that actor because he's played villainous roles
yes,
before.
he's a good villain.
Yeah, but
But he's wasted here.
even here, right? Exactly. Even here, I'm not getting that sense from him. So
Yeah,
then,
he's wasted
what's the
here
point?
for sure.
And then, if you're gonna talk about the Spartans and stuff, the Spartans are probably the most interesting part of this series so far. But why are you focus? What's the focus? What's the end game for that?
Yeah, I don't know.
We
There,
don't
there's
know. So
there's one question that I have for you guys also, and I kind of want to start with Eli because you mentioned earlier, or at least between you and AJ, you guys talked about like, Eli, you had some scenes in the beginning of the first episode that were kind of cool for you, right? I'm assuming you're talking about the action scenes, right?
Yeah, it was just the action scenes,
All right,
and they
so
were decently cool.
they were decently cool. You're you're
Decently,
you're decently cool. He's not just a cool guy; he's a decently cool guy.
decently cool.
So, all right, so those scenes were decently cool. The trailer that I guess the episode 5 preview that just came out. Did you get a chance to see it?
I actually didn't get to see it either.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Really?
I'll throw it up on the screen real.
You know what? Let's have you guys watch it real quick. I want to get some real time reaction. So talk to us.
Real-time
Yeah.
reaction.
So I want to
First real time reaction in God knows how long.
yeah.
No, the last one we
So-
did was
Peacock.
Yeah, no, not even. We did a trailer reaction for Godzilla versus Kong on CrossChat.
Really?
Yes, we did.
Oh,
Hmm.
but it
So-
still wasn't here.
Right. So as soon as you hit play, Eli, I want you to tell me anything that you think is cool that you see, anything you think is whack, anything you think is trash.
Okay.
All right, here we go. 46 seconds, and it's on. Well,
46
Of course,
seconds
this
of
being
wow
YouTube, you get the ads
selection.
at
Yeah,
the
we're
very
getting the
beginning.
ads.
We're dealing
Here
with
we
the
go.
ads.
All right, here we go. Okay, that's a pelican.
So right now,
Chief doing chief
Cortana is
things.
talking to Master Chief.
Oh, can't be cleared for
And-
combat.
Kai just got sidelined
Mm-hmm.
by Master Chief, ironically.
And now Quan's getting sidelined by what's his name?
Soren?
Yeah.
Yep. That dude is infinitely weird.
Yeah,
The
he
assistant
is.
to Dr. Halsey.
Yeah,
Very
he's
strange cat,
weird, man. He's weird. Episode 3 had a
Yeah.
very weird moment with him.
Okay, so
Yes.
we're fighting finally. Banshees. But
And
that's
that's
it.
So whack. So whack.
So whack. Oh, I thought that
So
like at least some of
horrible.
the action, at least the preview of the fact that there's going
That
to be
was
action, at least the
barely
promise.
any action.
Well, it's-
Barely.
All right,
exactly.
but it is a preview, guys. Keep that in mind.
Okay, but you know what else
Still
was
whack.
a preview? The first episode.
Yeah.
Well, no. But listen, the whole point of that preview reveal was to give you. It's basically them giving you the promise that this is the episode where we're gonna have big action. If there is big action similar to the beginning of the first episode in the next episode, are you excited?
I'm a little
No.
more excited. I can't say it's gonna fix everything like some magic.
No, forget about
Band-Aid.
that. I just want to know. I just want to know if this preview worked for you. I will admit that I am a little bit more excited because we're finally going to
I'm
get some
scared.
action.
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
scared because I'm afraid that they showed some action, and that's all the action you're going to see.
Yeah, I
from
know.
the
I am
episode,
actually
you
very
know?
worried about that too. I don't
That-
think that it's going to be though. I think that there's going to be a battle real quick between
I
the
think this is
Covenant.
the
They're
start.
gonna, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is the start of the Covenant War. I think by him, activating the artifact and McKee, right? That's her
Yeah.
name. Feeling it
Yeah.
and saying, "Well, I know where it is." I think this is that start of that war,
But-
which bodes well for the series, I guess. in
But
a
well,
way.
we'll see. We don't
technically,
even
the
know.
Covenant human war has already started.
Yeah, that's the
It's
thing.
already
there's
being
already a war, yeah.
waged.
yeah, but now there's a prize. For
Yeah,
them.
there's
I
a
mean,
cost associated with it.
Yeah.
There's something that they're doing a tug of war for.
Exactly.
Eli, you're
Okay.
literally not excited at all for the next episode after that?
Nope.
Not even a little bit.
No.
He
He's
has
hard
a
to
sniper
please.
I'm not
rifle.
worried either. I just don't care at this point.
Banshees don't do anything for you.
Wow. Okay.
The Banshees.
No,
didn't do
I
anything
I
for you?
really don't care who
Alright.
or what it is. It's just still whack. I know
Well,
it's
that's
going
terrible.
to be.
That does seem terrible, and it's unfortunate. But I guess we're gonna have to wait and see if the preview does end up changing your mind in any way.
Nope, it's still going to disappoint me. Yeah.
Well, moving along then. I mean, unless there's anything else that anybody wants to mention regarding this past episode,
No,
Um,
let's discover DC.
Yes.
all right, so guys, I need you guys to actually give me a little bit of background on everything that's going on. To be straight up honest with you, I didn't even know DC got bought out.
Yeah, so they have a new CEO. His name is David uh,
Z.
Zaslav. Zaslav, right?
I think that
Hmm.
sounds
God, I'm
right.
sorry if I'm butchering your name, dude, but he's the CEO of the recently merged Warner Brothers Discovery. So Discovery and Warner
Right,
Brothers
so
are kind of
Discovery bought Warner Bros. That's what it was.
right.
That's right. I
Exactly.
forgot about that. That is what happened. And I completely dismissed the fact that Warner Brothers owns DC.
Yeah, exactly. So,
So,
um, an interesting comment that he made that kind of was picked up about maybe a day or so ago by all the social medias. He said that he believes that many of the DC characters, like Superman, who has been criminally underutilized within the last couple of years, right? And that was me. That was my input there.
mm-hmm.
He says that they need to be revitalized after being underutilized in the DCEU for so long. Um, I mean, tell me the cat is a cat. I mean, that's not really earth-shaking news in terms of
Well,
what we know as fans, right?
yeah.
I find it interesting that now all of a sudden it's like this big light bulb just turned on over their heads and say, hey, maybe we should be doing something a little bit more with
Well.
characters
Here's
like
the thing, right? So,
Superman.
so I don't think that it's a light bulb that it turned on for anyone. It's just that Discovery went in the room and actually turned on the light, and DC didn't realize. DC's in the room and they didn't even realize that there's a
Well,
light bulb
this
in
is
there.
what the room looks like.
And it kind of makes sense,
you
right?
know
Because DC is just like in this dark room, and all they're thinking about is Batman, 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 and not realizing there's a light switch in here, and we can illuminate everything
which
else out. You know?
I am excited because you guys have seen Batman, and me, because of my injury and my recovery, have not seen the Batman. The Batman comes out on HBO Max this Sunday,
I'm looking forward to
so
watching it again at home. Yep.
I'm looking forward to watching it again for the first time.
Yeah, I'm definitely
So
excited to like find out what your thoughts are on
yeah,
it exactly. So
I've been dying to,
yeah,
but yeah, I mean, listen, with the DC universe never got on the right foot. It was clear and apparent that they waited too long. They're kind of like Microsoft to
to
the
Apple.
iPhone, yeah,
Okay.
Apple, waiting too long, then putting out the Windows phone, and then realizing, oh, this is not going to work. Same thing, Warner Brothers waited too long to jump on this train. Marvel Studios had a huge lead on them at that point, and the first thing they want to do is they want to really do an Avengers style movie, which was basically Batman versus Superman without any lead into it, and that was probably the first and biggest mistake that Warner Brothers has done, and they've started to kind of come out of it, but they still haven't nailed that yet. And
Yeah.
they've gone through various changes, saying, you know what, we're gonna start. We're going. At first, remember, Warner Brothers was supposed to be the place where directors went to flourish and tell their story, right? That was the whole thing, and then all of a sudden it became, well, you know what, you got to mesh it within this grand storyline. That didn't work. You know what? Now we're not going to tell that story. We're going to tell off stories, and now we're back to the whole, well, we're going to do the Flash. The Flashpoint's kind of reboot everything. We're going to tell that story again. Oh, by the way, we're going to get those characters that you guys have forgotten about for so long. Henry Cavill, I'm looking at you, right?
Hmm.
Hmm.
And we're going to bring them back, maybe, or maybe not. Maybe this is what this feels like, reboot 5.0.
So all
With
right. So
DC.
so this
You
is the
know,
thing, right? This is the thing.
ah,
So this is the thing. Like obviously DC was trying to make patchwork of the all the terrible decisions they've made over the last 10 years with Flashpoint. And then Ezra Miller happens, right? We're not going to
Ezra
get
Miller
into that.
happened before.
Yeah.
They just again they were stuck in that room with no light, right?
Yeah, we're not going to get into that exactly and like the controversy between him and whatnot. But it's like, DC's been trying to patch it up, and then Discovery comes in to like save the day in a sense. Um, I don't know that they're going to do a reboot, but I also don't know if I don't think that they're going to do a reboot, but I do think that they need a reboot.
It's tough because you're right. They do need a reboot, but they the characters that they have. I mean, say what you will about Zack Snyder, he casted these characters perfectly.
No, no, that's
Ezra
absolutely true.
Ezra
No, no, oh,
Miller,
right, no,
Ezra Miller, notwithstanding, and that's only because of all his off studio issues
yeah,
that
yeah,
he
yeah.
has.
Well,
And maybe he's not the coolest cat when it comes to the Barry Allen that we're expecting, right? But if you look at the other people, these were no brainers. I mean, I can't look at Henry Cavill and say he can't be Superman. You
yeah,
know,
no, absolutely not. So
Ben
that's the
Affleck was a
thing. Like,
perfect Batman, right?
that's the thing. I don't think
Aquaman. I don't know about Ben
I
Affleck.
don't think that you get rid of the actors. I think that you do a soft reboot. You keep the characters, you keep the actors. You sort of do a reboot in the way that like you don't tell origin stories, but you just tell new stories in a new direction. You just forget that anything else happened because everyone it's kind of like do what they did with Spider-Man Homecoming. Everybody knows the background. uh let's just kind of forget that the Amazing Spider-Man happened is essentially what Marvel did. They can do that, and they don't have to get rid of the actors. They just need to kind of act as if everything pre DC just didn't happen. Go with a new storyline, go with a new a new crisis, and just go from there. I don't know what they're gonna do with Batman. That I think
We
is
don't know
a
what they're going to do with Superman because Cavill has kind of been non-committal. He's kind of teasing that he hasn't hung up the cape, but nobody said anything so far, right?
well, I think that that's him saying that like he wants to still be Superman. He just doesn't want to be Superman under the current direction. He doesn't, because if he says, for example, if he says like I'm gonna stay as Superman, then does Warner Brothers sell off, or does Warner Brother like that's kind of like a bargaining chip for Warner Brothers, and I don't think that like Henry Cavill wants to be a bargaining chip. So it's better to not say anything to the stakeholders, but
Hmm.
he still wants to give hope to his fans, and I can commend that.
Yeah, DC is kind of in a weird place because and just because you like you said, and AJ, maybe you can kind of chime in on this because you're our DC expert here, but you know, DC has basically maybe two or three universes going at the same time. You know, depending on how you want to put where you want to put Joker in which universe, right? Because you've got the main universe, which is your Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, that
Yeah,
universe.
yeah,
Then you've got the Pattinson Batman. We don't
Yep.
yeah,
Obviously it doesn't fit in with
yeah. That's
the
the thing. I like
Snyderverse, right?
Yeah.
And then
the
Joker,
Spider Verse.
Is also
yeah,
his own thing.
Joker could be its own thing. We don't know exactly how those. So there could be like three universes that are out there. It's kind of a mess. This
That,
feels
yeah.
like. You know what this feels like? This feels like Fox's X-Men universe. It's
Yes, yeah.
all over the
And you
place.
know what? To be honest with you, I actually think that Fox did a better job with the X Men universe than DC has done with, or Warner Brothers has done with DC.
Wow, that
I
is
do believe.
such a burn.
I
So
think
do
that is
I.
true. I think it's true. Like even though like
That
the issue with
hurts.
the Fox films, I thought was that the films themselves weren't great, but at least they were a little bit more connected.
Barely,
Not really
especially
barely. Actually, not really barely
as
because
toward the end. Toward the end.
yeah, I mean
Toward the
they
end they
connected.
started connecting weird because there were time issues and age issues and
Yeah,
things of that nature. But at the very beginning you can kind of say that even though in my opinion those X-Men movies weren't really mutant movies and whatnot, um but at least they connected better. Now, once we got into Age of Apocalypse and the Dark Phoenix saga, that's when things kind of got off the rails.
Yeah, I
Really,
blame that on just like bad direction, story, and
hmm
acting.
Yeah,
But I do still think that they connect. Whereas the DC movies, they just don't connect at
they're
all.
all over the place right now. They really really are, and I don't know.
Although
You're looking at actors that are getting older that are looking at other interests. Maybe Henry Cavill doesn't want to spend 10 hours a day in the gym, trying to look like Superman. Where no
Come
but
on,
no but I'm
come
saying there
on.
Yeah,
you
You
I
you
think you
look
mean,
at
think that he's not
instances
keeping
like
up those
that.
Superman appearances for The Witcher?
No,
And
no, I
every
know,
single
but
mom that's
exactly.
tuning in for that show?
these, like I said, God, okay.
now who should be saying this is a PG child PG
But
show?
Hey, Eli,
it
you're
gets
over
tougher.
13, right?
14.
Yeah.
I'm
See,
14.
this is PG-13 then.
I guess my
Yeah,
point is
exactly.
it gets tougher with age. I mean, you look at Batista over here, who's already actively said, you know what, Drax is probably a character I'm not going to do anymore because you know what, I'm getting older and it's tougher for me to stay in
Yeah,
shape like that.
yeah.
He also
You're
said he wanted to
looking
do
you're
Bane.
looking at films that usually have a production time of 2 to 3 years. We're getting to the point where these actors may not want to you know put in that commitment,
I
Yeah.
don't
and
know
so
about that.
we're in that weird age right now. They're kind of there, they're like middle-aged and stuff, right? But they're
Well,
get
yeah, no,
they're
and
getting to that point where it's like, do I really want to continue to do this? And now's the opportunity. If you're going to reboot it, maybe you bring in different actors,
yeah, the
get
reason
some
for it is
younger
because
guys.
one thing that's very unique with comic book movies and expanded universes is that like when you sign on somebody to take on the mantle of a comic book superhero,
hmm
you should be basically asking them for a 10 to 15 year
Yeah,
commitment.
look at Sebastian Stan.
And
A lot has been made that he's got a 9 movie contract with
yeah, and that
Marvel.
is just
You
the way
know,
that it works. So I can definitely understand like Henry Cavill, however you pronounce it,
yeah, however
may
it is.
not want to sign on for Superman if that means that he needs to, you know, stick through it all the way to the end of the entire saga that they
Right.
might do. So I
And,
can
and the
understand that.
problem is, you know what? You signed them early on. When was Man of Steel? What, 2014 or something like that?
Man, it was a while ago.
So that was the time to kind of commit to Superman. He's only made what, three appearances outside of that, maybe. I mean, you saw him what in Batman versus Superman. You saw him in Justice League.
And that's it,
You're
actually.
wasting him
Just three
as
appearances
as
total.
a, as a
Total
character.
3 appearances.
Yeah, exactly. You're wasting him. So, now you're going to say almost, what is that, 8 years after the first instance of him playing Superman? Oh, now we're going to commit to your character.
AJ,
It's kind of hard.
AJ, how do
Yeah,
you feel about it? Being that you're the DC guy, our resident DC guy, how do you feel about like all this stuff with like Discovery taking over and like kind of this comment that's come out?
I'm still very scared. Warner Brothers is still the problem, honestly. Like, say what you want about DC, Warner Brothers are the one who's the guys who got us
Right,
into this
for
mess.
sure. But this is basically now not gonna be under Warner Brothers anymore. Now, is it technically? If DC's calling the
Discovery
shot,
is
I mean
different
Discovery.
from.
Well, I gather there, and I don't know the specifics of the organizational structure that they have, whether they're getting rid of guys or not. But I do think that Discovery is like kind of the umbrella company, and Warner Brothers kind of exists under them, as kind of like a satellite company. So they're
Hmm.
probably going to have their own leadership also. But that's always been the question, alluding to what AJ's saying. The leadership at WB has, quite frankly, been piss poor this last decade when it comes to the properties of these movies.
Yeah.
Eli, what do you think?
As long as Warner Brothers there, it's still whack. It's not. Nothing's gonna change about it. Um, you really just need, Marvel. What did Marvel start out as? And I know I have to. I'm comparing it to Marvel, but Marvel didn't start off with under any like
What do you mean?
started off
Are you talking about '90s? Because Marvel
no
went
like
through
original
a rough
MCU,
time.
like the first
MCU,
Avengers,
it was
and like
always been Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige always had a
yeah,
vision.
they need somebody who has the same vision as Kevin has, who has the same vision as Kevin Feige. Which so far we've had nobody who has had a vision like that in the DC universe. So
Well, they've tried. I think what is it? Jim Lee for a quick minute. You know who Jim Lee is, right?
I
Yes.
know who Jim Lee
No, I'm
is.
just saying. So Jim Lee is famously associated to the Batman comics, but he's done everything in that. They tried making
And
him the
Marvel.
guy.
He's done a lot of Marvel too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wasn't it Brian Bendis also a guy that
Brian
was
Michael Bendis, yeah.
wasn't he a guy that was at the head of the DC? Was it him? I can't
I'm
remember. It
not
was
100% sure, to be honest with you. Brian Michael Bendis is one of those guys that floats between the two companies in the comic book world, but I do believe that he had some sort of involvement in DC films or storytelling or something like that. I'm
mhm.
not 100% sure though.
I'm gonna try and
It's a
find it,
shame
but
because
yeah,
Brian Michael Bendis has some of the best Marvel stories of all time. He made his
Mm.
bones with Marvel.
yeah. I could be wrong. Oh Jesus Christ.
But I
Anyway,
mean, either way, they don't really have anybody who is like fully about DC. It's mainly just about the money. It's more
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
business thing. So yeah, that's basically it.
I
Well,
mean,
you
mhm.
find anything with Brian Michael Bendis there?
I'm trying to find it. I'm sorry. You know.
I mean, like, get me the guys, because correct me if I'm wrong, Swamp Thing came out exclusively on DC TV, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Get me the guys who put that project together. Because they clearly knew what they were doing, at least, were it
Yeah.
not for the budget constraints that eventually killed them.
Get me the guys. Show me the guys that did Swamp Thing, and then I'll show you the Warner Brothers that'll cancel them.
See,
Warner Brothers are their own worst enemy, and that's the biggest
yes,
issue,
they
really.
Oh,
are.
I'm sorry. I take it back. Brian Michael Bendis. I am so sorry. It was Jeff Johns
Oh,
Oh,
that
Jeff
was
Johns. Yeah, yeah,
leading.
yeah,
yeah.
Yes,
Yes, that's right.
he
Jeff
was
Johns. Yeah.
leading before Jim Lee took over, and now
Mm-hmm.
he's
Mm-hmm.
out
Yeah.
because I think Jim Lee. It was Jeff Johns, then it was Walter Hamada, then it became Jim Lee. Who knows who is going to be now? So
Well, look, ultimately, obviously, it shows that, it remains to be seen if there's anything that's going to happen. I think Warner Brothers has burned the fans so much that it doesn't seem like anything that could be done that they do outside of maybe Disney buying them out that would restore trust in the fans,
Damn.
to believe that like something good is going to come out of any moves that they do. So it's
I
very
mean,
clear that that's what's happening in the big blue corner.
They
And
have
so
potential
now,
with Batman though.
well, Batman's kind of an outlier, and but funny enough, that's also how Batman operates within the comics, within the Justice League. He's like,
yeah.
I'm part of the Justice League when I feel like it.
yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Yeah.
he shows up when he feels like showing up, and usually it's when it's basically when the Justice League is failing at their task.
Well,
If I'm not mistaken.
let's talk about a company that's not failing and has a little movie coming out in about what 3 weeks,
That was
3 or
going to be
4 weeks.
my segue. I
There
was
you
going to
go.
segue. We
Sorry,
got
man.
DC
Sorry,
in the
man.
blue corner, and right across from it in the red corner, Marvel.
Wow, I can't do that.
Talk to
So,
me.
all right.
Talk to me, guys, about Doctor Strange.
Oh my God. Just the one thing that grabbed my attention the first time I saw it. Now, this is just me because I just found it incredibly disgusting, but it is an amazing work of CGI that they did it. That third eye on Strange
Oh,
Supreme is so unsettling. I almost clawed my own eyes out.
There's been oh my
yeah,
god.
they've dropped a number of TV spots this week,
Yeah.
in the lead up to what is it, May 6th? I believe
Yep,
it
May
is, right?
Yeah.
6th.
The May 6th
They wouldn't let
opening.
you forget.
So Doctor Strange is definitely coming. I mean, and with every trailer, I think our anticipation is getting a little bit bigger and bigger, right?
And there's a hell of a lot of clickbait videos on YouTube. It's crazy.
Yeah, me, you and me, right?
Yeah,
Me and you, we did a screen culture or screen junkie.
we're
I
doing
can't
like
remember which
we
one
were
it is,
like
right?
doing a YouTube dive for Doctor Strange trailers, and oh
I
my
gotta admit that
god,
trailer did look legit
yeah,
up until they started showing the Fox X-Men stuff, and I'm like, oh wait,
yeah.
okay.
And then there was one where it showed like Tom Cruise as Iron Man, and then like
Ugh. Oh
what's his name,
God!
the
Don't remind me.
Fantastic Four with
Oh, the
Jim
guy from The
Halpert.
Office.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's so stupid,
Yeah,
but
but the way they did it was flawless, right? It
yeah,
looked like an actual trailer.
it looked like it was
It looked
from
like a
the
legit trailer.
thing.
Um, but yeah, aside from those things, I mean, I did show you the new TV spots. The new TV spots, while recycling some of the old stuff from the movie trailers, did drop a couple of new things on it, right?
Shuma go go.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the goat.
Not even that. Like there was this huge golem thing behind Doctor Strange. I still didn't get a good look
Yeah,
to
we got to
see what
check
it
that out.
was.
The thing about it, the thing that I think is probably going to be like for us in this household, it's not a big deal, right? Because we watch all the Marvel Studio stuff, including all the stuff on Disney Plus. But I think we're falling into a place where um, it's kind of like the thing that I was ranting against with Star Wars. You know what I mean? Where Star
Mm,
Wars has become such a huge property that to fully understand everything that's Star Wars,
oh,
you have to follow the books and you have to follow the comics and you have to follow the TV shows and you have to follow the animes now, which, by the way, season two of Star Wars Visions, I'm so excited, right? But I think what this is the first instance with Marvel Studios where I'm a little concerned that their their audience may be a little confused because especially as you saw within these trailers, there's stuff that they're putting in from WandaVision. And so, like I said, from a household like us where we're all Marvel, well, we see everything that Marvel Studios throws out there.
yeah.
There's not a lot of people that do that. There's not a lot of people that may not have Disney Plus. There's a lot of people that don't
Well,
follow it like that. I'm concerned that now we're getting to the point, just like in Star Wars, where y- there's really required viewing or required reading in order to understand what's going
well,
forward, because you see, especially in these past trailers, you're gonna have to catch up on What If, right? You're gonna have to catch up on WandaVision. Those are just the two instances that really stood out to me.
well,
I mean,
I
what
can
do you
tell you.
guys
Well,
think?
I can tell you off the bat that actually why I think this is actually a great idea for them. Even though
No,
you guys,
I think in terms of storytelling, it's
no,
great.
no, not even storytelling,
I
business,
think,
business wise.
well, yeah, because now you're going to want people to bring in, but you know what? There's people that may not be able to deal with it. I mean, look at how fragmented, you know, watching stuff on TV is. I mean, before it used to be you had one cable bill. I look at myself. I am signed on to Netflix, Prime Video,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Paramount
Mm-hmm.
Plus, HBO Max,
Mm-hmm.
Amazon Prime.
Yeah, so but this is the thing. This is
I
what I'm
got
trying to
like
say.
seven
This
or
is what I'm
eight
trying to say. If
media
you so
services.
look at it from a business standpoint. If you're Disney and your subscription numbers have kind of like stalled or stagnated, right? And you don't really have any other big shows kind of coming up in the pipeline to draw more people to buy subscriptions, but you know that you have an installed base with movies that people are going to go watch. A ton of people are going to watch this movie that didn't see What If, didn't see WandaVision, that after they see the movie, now they're going to be like, well, I need these questions answered. I need to get the subscription and I need to find out what I need to cancel so that I can go back and watch these things. The other thing that it does is give more life to these shows because
This is
I'm sure that people are no like it's already run its course. everyone that has Disney Plus for Marvel has already seen these shows. How do we get those viewers back on those shows?
Normally, I would say yes, and I know this is going to sound weird because I'm bringing this in, but I think it's a very weird time in terms of entertainment, because not only here in the United States, but around the world, money is tight. You look at gas prices, that are going up. You look at prices in the supermarket. You look at prices across the board, and so now it really becomes, it's a really weird time for entertainment because you're competing those entertainment dollars with necessities that people need on a daily basis,
Right. So it
and
just turns
so
into a question
it
of like, can I convince you to cancel something to jump onto something
yeah,
else?
but there's a lot of people. We're fortunate, that we can
Mm-hmm.
have that
Mm-hmm.
luxury. I don't think there's a lot of people out there that have that luxury. I mean,
Maybe.
I know a lot of people that says, well, you know what, I can't afford Netflix, so I just read up on whatever, or I
Maybe.
can't have three or four different, like I have like 20 streaming services. I'm fortunate that way. There's not a lot of people that can do that, and
Yeah, but
so
you
I
can't make
think
everybody
that's where.
happy either. And
No,
I
no,
think
I
that's
know.
what they're
I
looking
I
at.
get
Yeah.
that. I get that. I'm just saying it's in a really weird place that the entertainment dollar is right now
Yes,
because you're
that is true.
competing with basic necessity things that people need, and they're gonna forego and they'll be like, "Well, I went to this movie. I didn't understand a lick of it. They're telling me I have to go subscribe to this thing." That might backfire, and maybe in a way people get put off by that, by
It's
saying,
possible.
"Oh, look, they're trying to grab the hard-earned money that I have, you know, when I'm struggling just to make ends meet in the household." So,
Maybe, but
like I said,
the
it's in a weird place right now. That's all I'm saying.
yeah, I definitely see that. The only thing is that like I do get is something that Marvel has that DC doesn't have is trust from the fans, because I think like even though it might be something that you're worried about, I don't think that Marvel has
I think the
grandiosely
fans are gonna
failed
love it.
yet. You know,
No, no, I
I
think
in the sense
I'm
that what I
looking at
mean what I mean in the
I'm
sense
looking
of
at it. Hmm.
I mean in the sense of like putting the story together properly. I think that the biggest
Oh
flop
yeah.
that they had there was in Spider-Man No Way Home, because of all the plot holes with multiverse stuff and all this stuff
Hmm.
and whatnot. But even then, I still think that we have faith that Marvel's going to patch that up. And
Oh yeah.
I think that Marvel will
I don't
probably tell
doubt.
the story in a way that will work even for people that haven't seen WandaVision.
I don't doubt that for the fans,
Hmm.
this is going to be glorious. I really don't. I'm just worried more about the casual fans because that's the ones that they're really trying to reach out in order to expand. We are us comic nerds. We're gonna go find a
Yeah.
way to watch it. You
But
know
this
what I'm
was
saying?
bound to
We
happen
will
anyway,
find a
though.
way.
This was
You know?
bound to happen. I mean, look, you couldn't to be honest with you, like 3 years ago, the same thing could be said about Avengers. You couldn't see Avengers really without seeing any of the other previous movies, and it's kind of the same situation
Yeah,
for
I
those
know,
fans,
but
and
you know what?
it's a different
You.
entertainment dollar problem at that time.
Hmm.
But it's like this was inevitable that we're gonna get to a point where like there's gonna be some fans that are gonna be left out.
No, I know,
Yeah.
but with Avengers is a little bit different because it was only just the movies. Now you
Yeah,
have to invest. We have what, three Marvel Studio series so far, each of them at least 8 to 9 episodes. That's
yeah,
a big
yeah,
investment,
yeah, yeah.
so
I
that the
get it.
time
I get it.
investment is kind of hard and difficult for just the lay fan. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So, but that being said, I am super excited for Doctor Strange. I mean, the more I see, the more exciting it is. And I do like the fact that, you're kind of interweaving the story with all the properties. I know I said it that it was a problem, but I was saying that more for the casual fan. For the hardcore fan, this is awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
it is. I am optimistic, but I do, and I keep saying this every time something new with Marvel comes out. I do have fatigue,
You're
you
waiting
know?
for the shoe to drop.
It's
You're
not that I'm waiting
really
for the
waiting
shoe to drop. It's just that
because
like I have some fatigue.
they're due for a bust.
You
Eventually
know,
it has to happen,
it's
right?
not that I'm waiting for a bust. I am looking for something new because this isn't new. This
Yeah.
is still all after effects of Infinity War. All of it. It's still this
You
is
don't get
still
a horror vibe from it though,
no,
like a
sure.
little
I
bit
mean, like
there, you
genre
know?
vibe is one thing, but story vibe, this is still an extension of that story. And I'm kind of like, hey, I
Yeah.
want to move
Yeah.
on. Like, give me something completely new. I don't want to deal with this. And you know, a lot of it has like strings attached to the Infinity War, and I that's where the fatigue comes from. It's like, when are we going to be done with this? Every single series that comes out has to do with Infinity War. You know, Loki was like, what happened in Infinity War? Oh snap, I died. With
Well,
Hawkeye, it was Scarlet which like
it is a
Scarlet,
huge event
yeah.
though, you know.
No, I
But
understand,
it's
but
And
it's just like,
still,
at what point are we gonna move on from the
yeah.
remnants of it? Because when did
well,
Infinity War come out exactly?
2019,
I
20.
mean, you're kind of moving on from it from Moon Knight. You haven't had a single really reference
Yeah,
to the Infinity War, though.
I guess.
I think the problem is that
Although I
you
haven't
know,
seen a single episode of Moon Knight, by the way.
Sacrilege!
you really really
No.
I have
need
no
to, you know.
time.
Listen, so then you know
If
what?
you can watch Halo and you don't even like that show,
Yeah,
you ought to be watching Moon Knight.
put
Yeah, but it's
Halo on
1 hour
pause.
to catch up on versus 3 hours to catch up on.
Put Halo on pause and do Moon Knight. You will be thankful, you know.
I only
But
have like an hour to dedicate to something on television.
all right, so
Uh
here's what you
so
do, right?
I will at some point. I will at some point very soon.
Here's
Hopefully
what you
this
do.
week I have some time.
Here's what you do. Watch Moon Knight, okay? And because not a lot of stuff is going on in Halo, put the headphones on and sleep to Halo.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Okay? So you'll
Oh
be caught up
no!
subliminally. You really don't have to watch it
That's
because
true.
nothing's
That's
going
very
on
true.
the
I was very
screen,
upset at this
you
last
know.
episode, man. I really
No,
was. I
that's
really was
I
terrible.
just
like
so
halfway through I was like, man, nothing's gonna happen in this episode.
solution provider right here, right
All
here.
right, all
You
right.
know, but going back to, and we'll wrap this up because I know we're getting to that end of episode type thing, right?
End of the line.
Exactly. But you know, it feels like a lot of the stuff is still dealing with Infinity War because we're watching long form TV, right? We're watching episodes after episodes that deal with it, as opposed to a movie, which, if you look at the movies, they really haven't touched too much on Infinity War, you know, not the way that the episodes have. And so I think now, like AJ said, with Moon Knight hasn't had really any references to the Infinity War. I think now you're starting to see that shift away,
Mm-hmm.
and the multiverse of madness is probably going to be the one that really closes the door on Infinity War, at least my opinion, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm. We'll
Hmm.
see. We'll see. I don't think I think that Multiverse of Madness is gonna open up even more stuff that has to do with Infinity War, because we still have second season of
I don't.
Loki that has to do with the timeline. I mean, I'm hoping that like what Multiverse of Madness and the next season of Loki does resets the entire universe so that they can tell
No.
new stories with new actors, which is really
Oh
that's
my
No.
really what I think
god!
that they're gonna do. We're
Yo.
gonna have a
you
new
still
Professor
have
X, a new younger
No.
Wolverine. They have to reset everything because these same actors, they're not going to keep pulling these actors. Like we just spoke about the age of the actors.
yeah.
You know,
Well,
they're not
No.
going to keep
you
going.
Too early.
one thing we're missing is that, and this is a big miss here. We still have to deal with Kang. Kang is such a huge figure in the MCU right now that's kind of lurking there. He's kind of like that Thanos type in the early movies and stuff. We haven't had much mention of Kang. Kang is going to be
Yeah.
huge when it comes to rebooting this stuff. So
Yeah,
I think the multiverse of madness kind of starts that whole Kang storyline. At least I hope so, because that would be the impetus to get, you know, the soft reboot where now you're bringing in maybe a Miles Morales from another universe. Maybe you're
Yes.
bringing in a different Thor. Maybe Lady Thor becomes the one that takes over that mantle. You know,
yeah,
um, the X-Men definitely are going to be a huge focus. We haven't even talked about Fantastic Four, which they kind of hinted in the first episode of Moon Knight, kind of in a way, very subtly. Maybe not. Maybe this is another It's what's his name? The guy that everybody wanted from Ghost Rider.
Oh, please no.
Yes.
Stop.
Maybe we'll
Stop.
get
Stop.
Morbius.
Something like
Okay,
that.
yeah,
Morbius.
Morbius.
Mephisto.
No.
Oh my god.
You know,
Mephisto is
Mephisto's
fire.
going to be the one that pops up everywhere. Right?
Yes.
Stop.
I'm
Stop.
telling you, at the end of
Stop
everything,
right
at
now.
the end of it all, it's gonna be Mephisto. Watch.
No, it's not.
Yes,
It's gonna
No,
be
it is
Mephisto.
not. No,
I will
yes.
put
I
money on it right
refuse to
now
hear
that
it. No.
Mephisto will be the answer to everything.
You will lose your money.
Mephisto will win.
Oh my gosh.
The true goat.
All right. Well, so I mean, I guess that's kind of. I mean, is there anything left to say other than the fact that we're excited for Doctor Strange, not so much for Halo, and we're still kind of up in the air with DC? Are we excited about DC? Maybe we're
No.
not. I don't know.
I'm scared still.
Talk
fine.
to me after I see the Batman tomorrow.
I'm fine with continuing the Batman verse.
The
Pattinson.
Batverse.
So
Battinson.
It
Wait,
might
how
be
does it go?
interesting to
The
see
Battinson, Eli.
the universe
Something
rebooted in that
in the
universe,
way.
depending on how
I don't think that would happen.
how it works.
No way. It doesn't work. I'll tell you right now, it won't work.
That is
Emo
so. Let me
Batman.
ask you this: is this a darker vision than what Zack Snyder was trying to do?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Like as dark, if not
in the
darker.
way.
Yeah,
See,
it's
I
going to be very, very much darker.
I
But that's the thing.
appreciate
That's
that.
how Batman is supposed to be. I don't
Yeah.
think that that's what makes Batman different and an outlier. He doesn't belong in the JLA world. He is
Yeah,
supposed
he
to come and
doesn't.
go, here and there, kind of being the basically the Darth Vader of DC, where when he shows up, that's
Well,
what everybody
with-
really goes for. But the story is not
Mhm.
really about his world, and he is not
I don't
meant
know.
to be the story of the JLA world. He's just supposed to be the cool factor,
Hmm.
All right.
So, anyways,
There you
I
go.
don't know about that, but
so without further ado, then I guess this is the end of the line. Are we
Yeah.
at the end of the line?
Yeah.
It's been an
Yes.
awesome episode. Thank you guys for hanging on all the way to the very end. Please like, rate, share, and subscribe, and drop us a line if you guys have any questions, any thoughts, any feedback, and just to tell us that you love us. So that'll do it for me and for you guys.
Hail to the Jarnished.
oh yeah, I was about to say it's about to do I don't know. Something in the way.
All right, guys, stay geeky.